Yes. Good morning, students.
Good morning, teacher.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Okay, I'm also fine. Today we are going to continue with our discussion on cardiovascular diseases that we already started. And we began looking at various types of cardiovascular diseases. And we are continuing with our discussion on hypertension. Lydia, would you remind us what hypertension is?
I think it is high blood pressure.
Yes, it is true. Hypertension is high blood pressure, but we said it is persistent, elevated high blood pressure. And today we want to look at what we call risk factors. Does anyone know what risk factors is?
Yes, I could try.
Yes, please.
Something that increases the chance of developing a disease.
Yeah, that is very correct. When we talk of risk factors, we are talking of things that would increase one developing a particular disease. And in this case, we are talking of the things that would increase someone developing the hypertension disease. And under risk factors, we have two major types of risk factors in developing hypertension. One, we have what we call modifiable risk factors, and two, non-modifiable risk factors. I want us to begin with modifiable risk factors. Caleb, what are modifiable risk factors?
These are factors you can do something about.
Yes. Example?
Obesity.
Yes, obesity. Obesity is one of the risk factors for developing high blood pressure. But with obesity, there is something we can do something about, because obesity just means that someone has excess weight than what it is ideal for them. So they are able to reduce that weight and manage their weight, and so they will be able to reduce their chances of developing hypertension. Lydia, another example of a modifiable risk factor.
Unhealthy diets.
What do you mean by unhealthy diet?
Maybe like food that has high sodium.
Yes, it is very true. When people overindulge in food that has high sodium, and remember we talked about sodium levels and we said it doesn't mean only salt. Other foods that are sweet, they normally have high sodium level because of the preservatives that are used, and so we need to be watchful on the amount of sodium that we consume. Another example of an healthy diet,
high fat diets.
Especially trans fat. Trans fat they are the bad fats, especially the ones that are found in the ones that are animal fats or hydrogenated fats. They are not good fats. And when we take a lot of them, we are increasing our chances of developing hypertension. Okay, I think another example of modifiable risk factors is also inactivity, because of course inactivity will lead to obesity, which will increase our chances of developing hypertension. Okay, so under modifiable we have talked about unhealthy diet, we've talked about obesity, and we've also talked about inactivity. I would like us to go to non-modifiable risk factors. Lydia, what are non-modifiable risk factors?
These are factors that we cannot do anything about.
That is very correct. You cannot do anything about them. Example, Caleb?
We have age.
Yes, there is nothing we can do about age. Everyone is growing old, and the higher the amount of years, the more likely we are going to develop hypertension. Another example, Lydia, of an unmodifiable risk factor?
Family history.
Family history. When you come from a family with a history of hypertension, more or less likely, one is likely to develop hypertension. The last one, yes, Lydia?
Gender.
Yes. How does gender affect? Anyone who wants to give us a trial? Between men and women, Caleb, who do you think will develop hypertension more?
Women.
Women? Are you sure?
Yes.
Lydia, do you agree with that?
No, I think it's men from the previous lesson.
Yeah. Caleb was not in. From the previous lesson, we learned that men are more likely to develop hypertension than women. Okay, so in conclusion, what we have been talking about, there are risk factors to development of hypertension, and we say there are modifiable risk factors and non-modifiable risk factors, and we have looked in details on the two, and I believe that we have understood on risk factors to developing hypertension.
Yes.
Thank you.